What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with another video. This time I'm going to focus only on AFA and UKG loose graded Star Wars figures. And let me know what you guys think about this. I was thinking about having 3 different vintage market updates. One for loose complete and vehicles ungraded, one for loose graded, and one for mint on card. Is that too much for you guys? Let me know. I've got a couple of shout outs for you. I got a couple of new Patreon supporters, Pros Solutions and Pixelated. Both of them are longtime channel subscribers, and they both just became Patreon supporters. As always, my Patreon members get access to my videos 24 hours early through my Patreon page. If you're interested in becoming a Patreon member, it's patreon.com/actionfiguregrader. We're going to dig into only loose graded figures in this video, and I wanted to cover the gamut here. I've got everything from early first 12 figures all the way to a few last 17. I tried to focus on relatively fair priced items. I tried not to pull some like buy it nows that were just ridiculous prices, mainly auctions, but a few buy it nows where I thought the price was pretty fair. And most of these are fairly common figures. There were a few uncommon figures in here that sold for very fair prices at auction, and I was awfully tempted, but because I'm lacking that necessary green currency, I decided to not bid on any of these, but there's some gorgeous examples in here. Let's start off with a Luke Skywalker Farm Boy. This was the blonde hair, glossy pants Taiwan variant. Brand new case style. I call this one the mascara Luke, these Taiwans, because they have really heavy kind of eye paint applications to the eyes and to the eyebrows. I always call him the mascara Luke. He's still mad about not getting those power converters at Tashi Station. My jokes are getting worse and worse as I go here. This one was graded 80+. 80+ AFA archival case as well. Brand new case style. Really nice. That one sold for $425. Maybe a little high. Just a little high. I think in an auction, this would probably go for, I don't know, somewhere in the $350 range. That's a guess. But I think it's not that far off of market value. And it is a little tougher to find these Taiwan figures. I just, for whatever reason, based on my limited expertise, it does seem like the Taiwans don't show up as much loose graded like this in high grade. And, you know, Farm Boy's a Farm Boy. You know, if you get a nice high grade Farm Boy, you're going to be paying a little bit of money for it, especially in a new case, archival. You know, it's not too far off of market value, but maybe a little bit high. And speaking of market value, if you guys have any collections to sell, they can be loose ungraded, loose graded, mint on card, vehicles, whatever you got, and you don't want to pay eBay sales fees and have your stuff get reported to the IRS, you can reach out to me at actionfiguregrader@gmail.com. I'll put you in touch with some buyers. I don't get anything out of it. I'm not charging anything for it. I just try to hook up the people that watch my channel with people that I trust who are looking to buy stuff. And they pay very fair prices, and everyone's been very happy. A few folks have sold collections here recently to some folks I've set them up with. So don't hesitate to reach out to me if you guys have questions, or if you have a collection you're looking to move on to somebody else. Here is a C-3PO AFA 85 brand new case style, beautiful figure. Look how beautiful that is. And you know, again, 85 grade. This is the Hong Kong COO. That sold for $201. I think that's a pretty good price. It's always hard to tell with C-3PO because of that vac metallized. You don't know how good it is, you know, and whether the graders were fast and loose. I have the same problem with Death Star droids in high grade. Some of them look really great, and then I've got an AFA 85 that it's like, you know, a lot of scratches to the eyes and things. This one looks pretty good. You can never tell whether it's reflection or if it's defects to the vac metallization around that chest area, but overall it looked great. And 201 plus 585 shipping, that's a pretty good price. Here was probably the deal, in my opinion. This is the one I really wanted to bid on, but I did not. This is the Spanish Pac Darth Vader, the early Spanish figure, graded UKG 85%. The Pacs have a Hong Kong COO, as noted on the UKG label. This one's a little bit tougher to find, or a lot more tougher to find, than the PBP figure, and we're going to cover one of those in a second as well. This sold for $155, which is about 178 US. That is a primo deal. Whoever got that one, congratulations. I really, really wanted to bid on that. That is a gorgeous figure and much, much more difficult to find in my experience. You know, again, take everything I say with a grain of salt. I think that was a really fair price. Speaking of the Spanish Darth Vader, here is the PBP with the quote-unquote leather cape. It's kind of a textured cape, as you can see. It's got a little bit of texture to that cape to it. Let's see if we can get right in here. You can kind of see some texture to it. It actually shows up better when I zoom in like that. And so the PBP Vaders, they came with either textured or glossy, or one side glossy, one side textured. So there's 3 different ones you can pick from, not even including the different COOs and blob COOs and scarred COOs. This is the no COO scar with the leather cape. Really cool figure, straight 85s for the sub scores. That sold for $147, which is $169. That's about market rate as well. I think both of those were great deals. It does seem like the common Spanish figures are coming back down in price a little bit after seeing a massive run up over the last 6 to 9 months. But the common figures like the Cantina creatures, the Vaders, those seem to be coming down in price. I have not seen any kind of slowdown in price on the uncommon figures, but these common PBP and POC figures seem to be coming back down just a little bit. Here's a Death Star droid. This was graded AFA 85. And, you know, again, it's hard to tell whether that's scratching on the eyes and on the shoulder in the black paint applications or if it's just reflections. I have no idea. You know, from certain angles it looks scratched. From other angles it looks fine. It looks to be in better shape than the one I bought. And I paid $200 for mine. This one sold for $162.50. I think that was a great deal. That is a lot lower than what we've seen here recently. And maybe it's a sign that the market is settling down just a little bit on common high-grade figures. As we've talked about, I still have not seen a slowdown in last 17 or uncommon items, but these common figures like Vaders and Death Star droids, people and characters like that, they really have come back down a little bit. Here was an AFA 80 R5D4. This was the 1978 Hong Kong variation. I believe I had this one in a What to Buy video. It did finally sell $150, free shipping. That's a pretty fair price given that AFA 85s can go for $200 to $250. $150 for an AFA 80 is a good price. This was a great deal. This was purchased by a channel subscriber. This was an AFA 80 Plus Taiwan FET. It looked gorgeous. It had the correct blaster, according to him. I can never tell these things, but beautiful figure. It does look better than an AFA 80, quite honestly. It's an AFA 80 Plus, but it looks better. It looks like an AFA 85 to me. The grading on that looks extremely harsh based on these photos. $204.50 was the final sales price on that. I thought that was a great deal. Here is a Spanish tri-logo Boba Fett. This has got the no COO scar, and I don't know if this is the single or the double scar. This is the single scar variant. So if you look on his right leg on the back of the calf, you'll see that scar, and then on the left-hand side, it still says CPG 1979. You can get either the single scar or the double scar. And it's the same thing with the Lily Letty, the Made in Mexico Boba Fett. You can have the single or double scar for either the Spanish figure or for the Lily Letty. But this was a UKG 80%. That one sold for $225, which is $259. That was a great deal in my mind. Beautiful looking figure. Very, very fair price. 26 bids. That closed on September 3rd. Here's the most common of all the Boba Fetts. This is just a straight Hong Kong AFA 85. That sold for $305. Again, that price has come way back down, way back down. It got up to like $450 for an AFA 85 Hong Kong loose graded Boba Fett, which is, again, the most common one. Now it's selling for $305. So that's a good solid, let's call it, 150 off 450. It's about, 40% off of the market highs for a common figure. And it probably has to do with what one of y'all told me is like, once people started seeing the stupid prices that people were paying for loose graded Boba Fetts, they probably inundated AFA with a bunch of submissions for it, and now the market's kind of caught up with supply. Next up was an AFA 85 blonde-haired Luke Bespin. This is the Hong Kong COO, again, the most common variant. This one sold for $304, brand new case style. Now, as a reference point, about a year and a half ago, I picked up the same figure, same grade, same case for $177. Now they're selling for $304. So that's a little higher than I've seen, but again, the market is what the market is. Vaults of Yavin is a seller. I actually like his stuff when he sells them at auction. His buy it now prices are usually a little high, but his auctions are always very fair. And I think that's market rate apparently. $304 with free shipping. Beautiful figure, and another data point for those of you looking for a loose graded Luke Bespin. Next up, I've got a few Yodas. This is the Hong Kong, made in Hong Kong tagged. So this one has the tag on the inside of the robe. It was an AFA 80. That sold for $146.50. Great deal on that one. Fantastic deal for a high-grade Yoda. And then here was a UKG 90% Hong Kong. This one had the brown snake. So the other one was the orange snake. This is the brown snake. Straight 90s for the subscores from UKG. Brand new K-style. Pretty gorgeous figure. That sold for $270 US or 235 pounds plus shipping. You got to pay big money for UKG 90% and especially AFA 90s. If it's an AFA 90, you're going to be paying a lot more than you will for a CAS or UKG 90. But 270 US is pretty fair for that one. That's a great looking figure. Here was an AFA 85 Han Solo Bespin. That sold for $218.50. Again, you know, maybe that's a little high, but it's at auction. That's what it sold for, 33 bids. You might get lucky and pick that up for closer to $175, but, you know, 175 to 200 is about market. So, you know, clearly there was a slight bidding war there, but $218.50, that's not a terrible deal for a brand new K-style Hong Kong Han Bespin. Beautiful figure. Here was a AFA 85 circles on the knees and heels for Zuckuss. And so the Hong Kong Zuckuss came with either circles on the knees and heels on the back of the legs, or without it. Just, you know, straight Hong Kong without that variation. And there's also a no COO. There's also a Lily Letty. I think those are the three main variations, but the circles on the knees and heels came with either the no COO as well as the Hong Kong, if memory serves. But anyway, more information that you wanted on a kind of a secondary bounty hunter, but this is a gorgeous figure. That sold for $135.22. That was a very fair deal and probably a little bit below market, if you ask me. This was an interesting one. This was a semi-metallic 21B AFA 80+, but this is the no COO version. Much more difficult to find the semi-metallic no COO versus the Hong Kong. These would be packed in like Palatoy Tri-Logos, for example. I've got a Palatoy Tri-Logo mint on card. I really wanted this one to kind of pair with it, but it did sell very quickly. This one sold for $145, free shipping. I think what held me back on this one is that, as you can see, the clear plastic piece that goes around the chest apparatus area, that was yellowed, at least in these photos. You know, it looks like it had yellowed pretty significantly, and that's probably what held the grade down. But probably, actually, if I had to guess, me personally, I think that the 80+ score was generous. If it's got the yellowing that you see there to that clear plastic piece, I think it should automatically be a 75 at best, personally. That's my personal opinion on it. So I think that's probably what held the price back a little bit. But anyway, $145, took that one home. This is another one I really wanted to bid on, and it sold for a steal of a deal. This was a UKG 85% Lobot, but this is the no COO that would appear on like Palatoy Tri-Logos. This is a variant I do not have. No COO, as you can see on the label there. Straight 85 for the subscores. I probably should have bid on it, quite honestly. I've got the Hong Kong. I've got a couple of prototypes. I've got a baggie, a sealed baggie at grading, but I don't have the no COO. So should have bid on it. $82 pounds, excuse me, $94.54 US dollars. What held me back was the shipping. $57 for me to ship it from the UK. That's just too much. I mean, that's over 50%. That's over 50% of the sales price of the item. I just couldn't justify that. But gorgeous item, gorgeous figure. Next up was a UKG 85% made in Hong Kong Biker Scout. Really nice shape overall. Maybe just a little bit of yellowing to that left shoulder armor. It could just be bad lighting. I don't know. Maybe just a little bit of yellowing to the knee pads. You know, again, it could just be shadows or lighting. But 85%. Straight 85s for the subscores. That sold for 139 pounds, which is 160 US dollars. Again, I think that's a very fair price. In an AFA 85, you're going to be paying over $200 all day long, probably closer to 250, if not more, for a Hong Kong Biker Scout AFA 85. So I think that the discount on this one in an auction was pretty significant. I certainly would be more than happy with this in my collection. So that was a great deal, whoever picked that up. Here was an AFA 85 Han trench coat from Endor. This is the plain lapel. Obviously, there's also a camo lapel. This is the pink face version. There's also a pale face version. I just picked up an AFA 80 baggie that has the, I think it's the camo lapel pale face, which usually is the no COO version. But this is the pink face with the plain lapel. Way more information, again, on a secondary figure, but this one sold for $131.38. I thought that was a great deal for the brand new K-Style Han Indoor. They usually go closer to $200, so I think that was a really good pickup, whoever got him. Next up, we've got a last 17 Luke Skywalker Stormtrooper. How many loose graded Luke Stormtroopers have we covered in the last month or so? I mean, it has to be like 7 or 8 now. It just seems like there's been a non-stop inundation with the Luke Stormtroopers. This was UKG 80%. It sold for 395 pounds, which is $455. That's right in line with every other sale. UKG 80% has been selling for about 400 pounds. UKG 85% has been selling for about 500 pounds. So that gives you a rough price range depending on which grade you want. I would be more than happy with an 80% with this new case style. I love these new cases from UKG, as you guys know. But absolutely gorgeous figure. Finally, a non-Star Wars figure, but I had to show this price. You know, as we know, AFA has started loose grading Indiana Jones figures along with some other toy lines like WWE and Superpowers. I think they might have even shut it back down again because they got flooded with new submissions for these toy lines. But before they shut it down, somebody got in this AFA 85 Indiana Jones figure, an absolutely gorgeous example from the Raiders of the Lost Ark line. And that one sold for $898, and that was in an auction. So clearly, the market has demand for these, and I think it's because there's just a lack of supply right now. It's just so new for AFA to be grading these with the new case style. Obviously, they used to grade them way back in the day with the older case style that doesn't look nearly as nice as this. I mean, look how they do these accessories. It just looks absolutely incredible with the whip kind of curled there and then the pistol. So at least right now, high-grade, loose-graded Indiana Jones figures are going for big money. I expect that number to come back down again as the supply of these figures hits the market after AFA kind of opens things back up again. But it might be a while. So for those of you looking for one, you're going to be paying some big boy money for it. So anyway, that's all I really had for this video. Please comment below with any questions. Thanks so much for watching. And as always, I'll be back soon.